Hi guys, sorry I couldn't be in class today, but here's my virtual poster presentation. And so here's a poster that I actually made. And my research question was basically what are the effects of various different liquids on plant growth. And so this is my introduction, and basically I just talked about how normally you would think to just give a plant water, but that raises the question of, well, is there anything else that would be better for the plant that you could give it? And that's actually a pretty significant question when you think about areas that might be impacted by drought or other types of water struggles. So, like an area that just suffered from a water shortage might need some type of stimulant on their plants so that they can increase food production and plant product production. And so that could be really beneficial for a lot of people. And so, with the current state of research, there was not a lot on the liquids that I studied, but there was a lot of research on different liquids containing zinc and various oxides and also nitrogen, which is in coffee, which is one of the liquids that I actually studied. And so, what I did was test the impact of coffee and Gatorade on the mum flower. And so basically, I monitored the effects of these liquids on three different flowers. So the first one was given water as a control, and that was plant A, and plant B was given Gatorade, and then plant C was given coffee. And then over the course of 5 days, I monitored the impact. And my hypothesis was that although there's been some research that has shown that various other liquids may be beneficial for plant growth stimulation, I thought that likely only the water would be beneficial for the plant because that is what they're given in their natural environment. And to introduce other chemicals likely wouldn't be very effective. And so I hypothesized that plants B and C that were given alternative liquids from water would be negatively impacted by the substance. And so moving on to my materials and methods section, I used three small pink mum flower pots, and then I had three paper plates to put them on, and then I had a cup and a fourth cup of water, of Gatorade, and coffee. And then I had a marker to label them, and I had a cell phone to take pictures and a notebook for observational logging. And so what I did was put the three plants in a shaded like area with an overhang so that water wouldn't get on them. And I put each plant on its own labeled plate. And then every day at about noon, I poured the same amount of liquid on each plant, but their own liquid. And so it was the same amount, and it was also the same temperature. So the coffee wasn't hot coffee. And over the 5 days, I observed them with my camera and my notebook. And after the 5 days were over, so moving on to my results, basically what happened was there was no change in the first plant, plant A, which was given water, and that is shown over here. You can see how there's a straight line for plant A in this graph. And then plant B, which was given Gatorade, that had a basically a stem falling. And so I created a stem falling scale. And so you can see right here on this side of the stem fall scale, the flowers are really close together. And then you move to a 2 and they're starting to separate. And then a 3, I don't know if you can see this, a 3, they were like really falling. And so what happened was plant B didn't have any change the first day, and then it spiked up to a 2, so they started to fall. And then the next day it went up even higher, and they fell a lot, and then it kind of leveled out. And so the stems clearly fell a lot over those 2 days. And then for plant C, which was given coffee, it didn't have any changes in stem falling, but it had changes in the color. And so this is shown over on this graph, but what I did was create a flower color decay scale. And so you can see over here it's really pink, and then it gets like really brown over here. And so I showed this in the graph by what happened was there was no change at all in plant C for 3 days. And then on the fourth day, or the third day, it went all the way up to from a 1 to a 3. And so the flower petals got really brown really quickly on that fourth day or third day of being watered with coffee. And so as far as the discussion, I talked about how it's likely that, as I hypothesized, both the Gatorade and the coffee negatively impacted the moonflower. And so I discussed how this is likely because the various chemicals that were included in the Gatorade and in the coffee, the plant was not used to getting them, and so it probably suffocated its ability to conduct normal processes such as photosynthesis and other things that a plant needs to do. It probably couldn't do because of the chemicals that were in those liquids that were actually harmful for the plant. And so I also talked about future research that could be done, and so there could be more research on different types of plants as well as many different types of liquids. And also there could be studies done on just the soil health when given various liquids instead of water. And I also talked about the limitations of the study, such as this is really small and it was only done on one plant, and it was an outdoor environment, and so other things could have gotten into the plants. So future studies should probably be in a more controlled environment and should conduct research on a more extensive variety of plants and of liquids. And so my works cited is over here to include all the sources that were in my literature review. And that's basically it. Thanks, guys. I hope all of your presentations go really well.